welcome to the first official episode of the Anything But Everything podcast. I am your host, Shant, and I want to once again thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm sure that there's some of you out there wondering exactly what is this podcast all about, what is its intention, and I will let you guys know all of that right now. Basically, guys, this podcast reaches out to a particular group of people. It might be you, it might be somebody that you know. Basically, guys, we live in a world where everybody is going through struggles. And a lot of times when we're going through those struggles, we suffer from things like pressure, anxiety, panic attacks, stress, depression, etc. And a lot of times I feel like what the problem is that we don't open up to our friends, our coworkers, our classmates, our family, simply because we're maybe scared that somebody might laugh at us or might not be able to help us out or might not be able to connect with us on that level of us having a problem. And I want to create a podcast that provides a platform to anybody who listens. If you're going through a struggle right now, or maybe you were, or you know someone who is going through a struggle currently, I want this podcast to be a platform for those groups of people to where they can tune in and maybe feel some sort of closure or a comfort zone, and maybe they're able to connect with the podcast and the people that I bring along. Which brings me to my next point. So the general consensus of the podcast: on every episode, I will bring a guest to the podcast, whether that's a friend, a coworker, a classmate, whoever that might be. And I will allow for this guest to open up about a problem that they either have or that they've had in the past, and how they were able to cope with that problem, what pieces of advice that they were able to, receive and use, and, what were the negative, what were the good aspects of it, what were the positive aspects, what they learned, what changed, what stayed the same. And I feel like by having my guests do this, I might be able to reach out to some of the people out there who listen to the podcast, and hopefully will be able to connect on some type of level. So that's basically the general idea of the podcast. And let me just put out a full disclosure ahead of time stating that whoever is on the podcast, whoever talks on the podcast, and whatever piece of advice that is given on the podcast that is not coming from a professional psychologist, therapist, or shrink. It is simply coming from a group of people doing a podcast hoping to, help other people on their, day-to-day struggles, on their daily struggles, and hopefully once again provide some sort of, comfort zone or maybe some sort of closure. So that's basically the emphasis of the podcast. That's basically, what it's supposed to be. And I ask for your guys' support. Once I get a couple episodes going, I will ask for comments, for ratings. I asked you guys, please tell me if this podcast is helping you out. If it's not, maybe if we can do something to improve the podcast, maybe take something away or add something in. That will all be highly appreciated. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your guys' time, and I will see you on the next episode.